Doubling down on Benghazi, the New York Times editorial board now defending the paper's controversial report that al-Qaeda had nothing at all to do with the terror attack and that an anti-Islamic video largely fueled the attack that took the lives of 4 Americans. In his own column, the Times editorial page editor, his name is Andrew Rosenthal, defiant, saying this, quote, "Those trying to claim al-Qaeda was involved were doing so for strictly political reasons." How about himself? Katie Pavlich is news editor for townhall.com, a Fox News contributor. Tara Dowdell is a Democratic strategist, founder of Tara Dowdell Group. Good to see you both, and Happy New Year's Eve. Thanks for being with us.
Happy New Year's. Thank you.
You know, Katie, Rosenthal really mocks the critics of his reporter's story, accusing them of being political. And then, in almost the same breath, Rosenthal himself goes on this sort of political tirade defense of Democrats. Does it strike you as not only hypocritical, but sort of a childish temper tantrum in print?
Well, I always say be wary of those who say don't play politics, and then, of course, they go and play politics. You know, the New York Times, just like a lot of people on the left, have done everything they can to belittle Benghazi as a phony scandal, as something Republicans are, launching a witch hunt over. But the fact is that there's still no accountability. And so if he's going to go into this rant and this editorial about Republicans rather than calling for accountability and wondering why, for instance, the terrorists who committed this attack still haven't been arrested, why those at the State Department who were fired are now back at the State Department working. The fact that he would go on the defense for Democrats, and attack Republicans really shows that they're not interested in really
Tara,
what happened there.
Rosenthal, Tara, focuses on Republicans' criticism of the article, but he seems rather oblivious that there are a great many Democrats that don't believe the article either. For example, on Sunday, Congressman Adam Schiff told Fox News that the intel indicates al-Qaeda was indeed involved. And in fact, you go back to the head of the Senate Intel Committee, Dianne Feinstein. She has classified regular briefings. Long ago, she said it was a terrorist attack linked to al-Qaeda. I'll put it up on the screen. Here's what she told Meet the Press. The minute you knew what happened, you knew it was a terrorist attack, and you knew these groups had camps all around the area. Isn't Rosenthal being really one-sided here?
Well, actually, you're making part of the point that Rosenthal made in his defense, as well as in the original article by the reporter. One of the points that was made was that there's been a lot of confusion by both Democrats and Republicans about al-Qaeda and who they are, and linking them sometimes in instances when they are actually not involved, which is dangerous for us. And I think the larger point here and the issue is, I think Rosenthal in particular is upset with Republicans because a lot of this has been about politicizing this issue on the part of Republicans. If you look at what happened here, people died, and it was an intelligence failure. That should be the debate. How do we avoid intelligence failures in the future? How do we protect our embassies?
Okay.
And that's what we should be talking about.
Sarah, thanks. Katie, let me jump in with a question here. The State Department initially claimed that this attack sprung out of a video protest. Then later, State admits there was no protest on the ground before the attack. Suddenly yesterday, spokeswoman Marie Harf comes out and speaks in defense of the Times story, which says a video protest was part of the attack. I mean, which is it? You can't be all three.
It definitely can't be all three, and I would refer viewers back to the testimony from State Department's Gregory Hicks, who's State Department whistleblower, the man who was the last person to talk to Ambassador Chris Stevens before he was killed. He was in Libya at the time, and he reported nothing about the video back to Washington, D.C., and the only thing that he told Hillary Clinton and other leaders back at command was, we are under attack. This is a terrorist attack. This was a planned and coordinated attack with men on the ground pointing to, and giving orders. This wasn't about a video. This wasn't about a protest. This was about a planned attack. And let's not forget that this wasn't just something that happened on 9/11. Let's go back throughout the entire year of 2012 when the British ambassador had 2 assassination attempts. The consulate was bombed a couple of times. I mean, this was not something that should have been a surprise. It wasn't an intelligence failure. It was a failure on behalf of the State Department to have more security.
8 days after the attack, on 9/19 was the date, Matt Olson, top administration official, tells Congress for the first time, this is a terrorist attack, he says, indications al-Qaeda was directly involved. 15 days after the attack, Hillary Clinton finally draws a link to al-Qaeda. Next day, Leon Panetta admits, yeah, same thing, pre-planned terror attack. Pentagon knew within hours. Then you've got the two top intel members of Congress. They all agree, same thing. They say no evidence of a demonstration over a video. Yet Rosenthal wants everybody to believe that his one reporter, Kirkpatrick, is right, and all of these other officials, including two branches of the U.S. government based on top intel, are wrong. Come on, that's a little implausible, isn't it?
Well, I mean, the report, this New York Times report is based on eyewitness testimony from people who are actually Libyans, people who were on the ground, Libyan reporters.
Who have every reason to lie.
And he talked, well, no, Libyan reporters who were also interested in this story because people want stability in that country. So I think to say that this did not involve a video, facts were changing very quickly on that day, as they do in any of these situations. We've seen false news reports every time there's a mass shooting in this country. Things come out, things change quickly. But I will raise the point. Back in 2005, there was an article in the Danish paper that led protests all over the world just like this.
All right, I'm up against heartbreak. Katie and Tara, good to see you both.
Thanks.
Happy
New
Year's Eve.
Thank you.
Yeah.